Now, I have the privilege to introduce to you today's speaker this morning. He is not our guest. He is not a stranger to this house. In fact, he's been here in this church probably before any one of you, any one of us. From the very beginning of the church plant, his name is Pastor Adam Burt. He is a lead pastor of our Every Nation New Jersey church in Parsippany. Is that the name? Okay. Parsippany, New Jersey is about 30, 40-minute drive away, but he's also been part of this church from the very beginning and pastoring the Manhattan Church, New Jersey church for many years until he had to shift his focus to New Jersey and pass the baton to some other leaders, including us. So, but we are here because of his faith, in his hard work, and all of the investments that he's made into so many lives. And so we want to honor him. He is also a former NHL player. He's very famous. You can Google him. And you'll hear all about that in his sermon this morning. And you can also pick up his book, his first book that he's written, he's published. It's called The Longest Game, Winning in Life. I haven't had a chance to actually read that book yet. Sorry, Pastor Adam, confession. But I already have the book. I'm going to read it. But that's going to inspire you. It's on sale upstairs after service, and he can autograph your book too. So, but anything above all things, I just want to say that he's impacted my life in such a way that I wouldn't be here if it were not here for him. He has a profound impact in my life as a husband, as a father, as we were just raising kids. He's helped me so many times. You know, him having raised two beautiful children, I so many times ask questions. He's helped me. So he is a father in the house, and get ready to laugh, cry, and be transformed by the word that God has given him this morning. So let's welcome him to the stage.
So Pastor Nathan told me that this was the cool service, so don't disappoint me, okay, guys? Yeah, that just means that I'm old. That's why I can say I'm a grandfather in this place or whatever. It was funny. I shared with the morning service that I knew Nathan as like a 12-year-old kid in Raleigh, North Carolina. We met him, and so he was getting into hockey and stuff like that, and he wanted me to see if I could help him out and do that. And I went out a couple times with him, and I was like, nah, bro, you should probably be a pastor or something.
Thank you.
But I will say this, man. You're doing an amazing job, though. You are right where you're supposed to be, man. Like really fantastic, Nate. And then Kaz and Iinuma they're just two incredible people. I mean, like their family and their marriage is just a ministry, isn't it? Like just being around them in the madness of Manhattan and whatnot, and then just being around their lives, your marriage is a ministry for sure to so many. So listen, I had a lot of memories coming back in. I was trying to think of where to land. I see Betty Swan on the front row. Does everybody know Betty? So Betty was actually ministering with us at Park West High School when we were there. And here's what was so funny. I remember one time, and Betty, my next book, you're making this book. So it was a ministry moment where there was a new guy, Joe. Joe was living up on the Upper West Side, and man, he was new to the Lord. He was straight up New York, though, man. He had his Yankee hat on and all this. And so he came after service at 414 for prayer. And so I knew that he was he was raised by his mom. So I'm like, I'm going to get Betty. Betty's like kind of got this anointing on her life. And so we're going to pray for our boy, Joe. And so Joe comes in, and right away I'm like, Betty, you need to pray for this guy. We want to get him to know Jesus and stuff like that. And so Betty, she threw a switcheroo on me. Betty said, now get down on your knees to my boy Joe. And I'm like, oh, this is getting different here, okay? And so Joe gets down on his knees, and then we're praying, and then Betty puts his hand and praying for some healing and stuff in his life. And then she looks around, and I can see a little bit of panic look on her face. And she says, and Joe, the Lord said we're supposed to anoint the head with oil, and I don't have any oil here right now, but Pastor Adam's forehead has a lot of it on it, and so she wipes it and prays for him like that, and I'm like, no way that just happened, and but Joe was cool with it, and he loved the church and all that, so Betty, that is making the book to this day. We had a couple other cool moments where, I'm not sure how many have been to our offices at 414 West 51st Street, and we baptized a lot of people there, man. And just to kind of give you a glimpse, like what you're living your life out in is something very, very unique. Like we baptized some people at 414. I remember one particular baptism. We baptized Evie. She had just come out of a vampire cult, like just tats and piercings everywhere you could think of. In fact, like when you talked to Evie, you didn't know where to look, because everything was a little bit distracting. And we baptized her in the waters of baptism. And then following her, it was a 9-year-old little girl who loved Jesus, and she was prophetic, where it was kind of like spooky, where she would prophesy things over you, like, oh my gosh, she just nailed it, And so there was that. And then we baptized then as well in the same baptism an 18-year-old Chinese exchange student. And she spoke just very little English, and we baptized her in the waters of baptism. And then lastly, an 80-year-old Russian guy. And after we baptized him, when he got up, he wouldn't let me help him up. He decided he wanted to show that he was still the man, and he started doing dips off of the baptismal and stuff like that. And so, and I just thought, where else can this swath of different people come together as one? And it's only in the church, man. And so here you get the nations come to you in New York, and so you're a part of something amazing and really spectacular. But the main reason I'm here, can I get that, Nathan, the book? But the main reason I'm here is I'm here to peddle my book here today, all right? Nathan and Kaz said I could do that, and so it was one of these things, gang. I don't know if you're like this, where you got kind of a bucket list, and I'm like, listen, before I die, I know I'm going to write a book. And so it might be a coloring book and all that, but I was going to write a book. And so this past year, I sat down, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to do it, even if it's garbage. And then as I started writing the book, it was interesting. I was like, you know what? I think this could be really, really helpful for people. And so it started to come together, and so we put it out. And so, like I said, I'll be up in the lobby afterwards, and 100% of the proceeds go to the church. And so I did tell Kaz, though, they go to our church in New Jersey. Okay, just to be clear on that. Thanks, Nate. Appreciate you. So anyways, the title, The Longest Game, it actually came from like my hockey experience. So I never got to win any championships or any of that, but I did get to play in the longest game ever. And so listen, I was playing at the time for the Philadelphia Flyers, and for the 2 hockey fans in here that know who they are. But I'm not sure if you ever, Philadelphia, it means the city of brotherly love. But they've obviously, whoever named it that, has never been there, all right, or played for a professional team there, because they are tough fans, man. And but that season, we were amazing. Like, I didn't realize it at the time, but our team was just stacked with future Hall of Famers, man, all-stars and all-pros, and then there was me, on the team. But so we rolled through the regular season. We actually clinched the division on the final game of the year, going ahead of the evil New Jersey Devils over in New Jersey. And so we took first place. And then we rolled into the playoffs against the Buffalo Sabres. So is anyone here from Buffalo? Great, good. It's a horrible place, okay? Horrible place. And so we played the Sabres, and we crushed them 4-1 in the series, and we rolled on to round 2 in the National Hockey League playoffs against our in-state rivals, the Pittsburgh Penguins. And so the series began. We were at home in Philly, and Pittsburgh won the opening 2 games of the series. Man, it shocked our fans, and if I was to be honest with you, it shocked us. It's like, what in the world happened? And so we were headed back to Game 3 to play against the Penguins. And so when we did, it was a really tight checking game, like really intense. And I believe the game, it ended at 1-1, so we're going into sudden death overtime. And so with that, I don't know if you know the pressure, like you don't want to be the one to screw up or whatever, because the next goal wins. And so we're at this back and forth thing. And at one point, I got a penalty during the overtime. So I don't know if you know what that means. That puts our team down a man. They get an extra man advantage. And I did what every God-fearing Christian would do. I started cutting a deal with Jesus. Anybody else? Come on, you guys, you know you do it. You get in a jam, you're like, please, Jesus, if you get me out of this, I will tithe more. I told him I would become a pastor, and so he got me out of it, so I became a pastor. And but get this, my defense partner, towards the end of the first overtime period, he gets the puck at the blue line. He rifles a shot. It goes over the shoulder of the goaltender. Score, we're back in the series, man. Series is 2-1, and then it led us into Game 4. But Game 4, nothing could prepare me for what was about to take place. So do you know what? It would become the longest game ever. That night it became an ESPN classic. The game, it began at 7:30 at night, and it ended at 2:30 in the morning. By the way, my wife fell asleep and didn't even get to see that we won. All right, and so, but here's what it was 9 periods long. So if you're not familiar, hockey is a normal game is 3 periods. So we played almost 3 complete games in a row. And so it was unbelievably exhausting and tiring. And then if I could take you into the locker room, like the locker room, it didn't look like a locker room. It looked like an emergency room, because we had guys that were so dehydrated they were putting them on intravenous IVs in between periods because everyone was cramping and seizing up. And then we had at 1 a.m. guys were getting hungry, so they actually they had to call the pizza guy. So our trainer calls the pizza delivery guy. They deliver like a dozen pies. He's thinking he's going to a frat house. He's going to an NHL hockey game. Delivers out the pies, man. And man, a cheese pie never tasted so good as it did then. And we smashed that back. And then we had one story I always just like to tell. There's a guy on our team, his name was Keith Jones. He was a great leader and a pretty tough guy, but he despised working out. And he had the body to prove it, okay? He just had a dad bod, man. And it was like when he would take his stuff off and he'd be bare chested, you would get that little gag reflex in your mouth, like a little throw up in your mouth, type thing. But Keith, during the first overtime, like it was tense in between periods, and no one was saying anything. It was just silent. And so finally Keith says, "Hey, I have something to say." And all eyes focused in on Keith. And we're like, what in the world is he going to do? And so if you could picture it with me, man, he's got his shirt off. He's got like more rolls than a bakery. And he's walking around, man. And he just says, "Men, it's official." He says, "I think I'm going to start working out next year." And everybody just started cracking up. It was a lot funnier in the moment, okay? But everyone starts cracking up, laughing, and it was like it broke the tension in the room. And now suddenly we had just the freedom to go play. And then I always share this. It was almost like a movie scene, man. We're sitting next to one another, and one player, I don't even know who started it, but he looks at his watch and he's like, "Hey, fellas, do you got to be anywhere tonight? Because I can play all night if we need to until we win." And then the next guy next to him goes, "I don't have to be anywhere. Do you?" "No, I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have to be anywhere." And it was like this cool moment where we just knew, hey, I knew we were going to win or we were going to die trying. Then finally, at 2:30 a.m., this happened.
And Pittsburgh will catch a break. They're able to get out of the zone. Richardson backhands it up. The Penguins were changing. They're able to come out relatively easy. Here's Keith Primo with the first. Primo cuts the inside, scores! There it is! Keith Primo, the much maligned center of the Philadelphia Flyers, wins this game in the 5th overtime. And the Flyers go back to Philadelphia with the series even at 2 games apiece.
You don't have to clap or anything like that. It's good, so I will say this, man. We would go on to crush Pittsburgh, and then we'd meet in the conference finals against the Evil Devils across the river. I don't want to talk about what happened at that one because we lost. But I will say this is, if you could have been in the building that night, like it was kind of bizarre because like some people were just trying to stay awake, you know, and it was eerily silent that you could hear everything taking place. And then when the puck hit the crossbar, the game-winning goal, it made this deafening noise throughout the stadium. Ping! And then it was over, man. This thing that was going on forever was suddenly over. And we just celebrated at center ice, as you could see. And the celebration continued into the dressing room. And here's what was so amazing is, I don't know if you've ever been to that spot where, like, we were exhausted but exhilarated at the same time. You know what I mean? And then there was this unbelievable thing that I don't know how to describe to you, but there was this sense of this soul satisfaction that we could look at each of our teammates in the face and be like, hey, bro, I left everything I had out there for you. I have nothing else that I could possibly give. There was something deep and something bonding about doing that. And the reason why I say that is this, do you know that there's coming a time in all of our life where there's going to be a deafening ping, and you're going to breathe your last breath, or Jesus is going to crack the sky open. And then you know what's going to happen? You're going to meet your glorious Creator. Yeah. And here's my prayer, is that you can look in His glorious eyes and you can say, Lord, I left it all out there for you. I got nothing left to give. And you hear these words, well done, my good and faithful servant. Enter into your master's joy. I want that with you, for you, with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength. And so do you know the Apostle Paul wants that for you? In 1 Corinthians 9, he says that our life, it's like a race. And he says, man, live your life in such a way as to win the prize. And I guess my question is, are you winning in life? I've heard someone say this, that the worst kind of failure is succeeding at the wrong thing. And I got news for you. Like, I know New York is filled with world changers in this place, big dreamers, overcomers. And so, man, I hope you crush it. But here's what I don't want you to succeed at the wrong thing. And so, like some people, man, your thing is, I just want to make a ton of money. I pray you do make a ton of money, and then you tithe off it. Pastor Kaz, amen? And so some of you, man, it's about my career. I need to make it. And listen, I hope you crush it. But if that's the only thing you do, if that's the ultimate thing for you, your life, I promise you, man, when you look God in the face, you're going to feel ridiculous. So there's a thing that David Brooks, he's an op-ed reporter for, I think he's for the New York Times, and he said this. He said there's two kind of virtues you can have. There's a eulogy virtues and resume virtues. And so resume virtues are those things, you know, we put on our resume. Hey, I made this much money. You know, I killed it. I had this awesome house and this awesome car, and which is, once again, great. I hope you kill it. But how ridiculous does that look when someone's giving your eulogy? Hey, man, she made a lot of money. Hey, man, they crushed it. Do you see that car that they drove, right? It looks ridiculous. And so will it be when you stand before your Creator. And so, man, are you winning in life? And so, I'll share with you. This is, do you ever have those things in the past that you just wish you could, like, man, like Back to the Future and just kind of fix it? And so I got this haunting memory that I kind of replay a lot. And it was during the longest game. We were playing in our centerman, Kent Manderville. He picks up the puck in the neutral zone. He enters into Pittsburgh zone, and the two Pittsburgh guys converge on him. The puck squirts loose to me on my stick, and I had a wide open net. And like everything flashed before me. I'm like, man, I'm going to be the hero, man. I'm going to be the man. They're going to write movies about me and this stuff. And the only thing I couldn't do is miss the net. And I missed the net. Let's check it out.
Good job of Penguin players to get back. But here's a break now. Here's Mandeville trying to cut in. And a ball off the side of the net. Trying to wrap it around in front. Can't do that either. And Roosevelt over there. How about Adam Burt in the game he's played? How about the two games he played? Centering feed, stopped by Tugnut. Manderville got loose for a second, the shot on goal.
So I think we have a still shot of it here. We can check this out. Let's see. So I don't know that guy, that grainy thing, that's because I'm old and it's an old shot. But that number 2, that's me. And then I don't know if you see the goalie and the red circle, that is a wide open net. In the National Hockey League, it doesn't get more wide open than that. All I had to do was hit the net, and I missed the net. And it haunts me till today. And so that's a frustrating thing, to miss the net in that game. Man, but to miss the net with the trajectory of your life can be devastating. It can be devastating. And so there's one of my heroes in the scriptures is a guy named David. Do you know him? Like, he's kind of a big deal, right? And so David, God had a plan and a purpose for his life. And can we agree, though, he did it really, really imperfectly. Like, if you know his story, like, man, he sleeps with his best friend's girlfriend, has him killed, and it's a bit of a train wreck. But do you know what it says in Acts chapter 13 about David's life? It says, David fulfilled the purposes of God and fell asleep. I don't know about you. I want that on my tombstone, that Adam fulfilled the purposes of God and fell asleep. And so I want you to win in life. And so I was told this is a bit of a younger crowd, so this was great. Please, I hope you can track with me on this. How many have seen Family Feud? Like with Steve Harvey, come on, the dude's hilarious, man. I still love Steve Harvey, so I'm an enthusiast. And I love just Harvey because he just calls people out, man, and it's hysterical. So I brought a little clip for your entertainment here this morning.
Name something that follows the word pork.
You pine.
Huh?
You pine. Pork you pine.
Yes! That's right, Ted! Yes, lunatic!
Pork. He said, cupine. Cupine. What? What is cupine? This is the greatest answer I've ever heard. I feel you. It's number 1.
Oh, my mama.
Pow. It's number 1. Oh, really? Well, I tell you what, it's going to be number 1 on YouTube, but it ain't going to be number 1 on there. I can bet every dollar I got. You the only person that said cupine.
And so it's hysterical on there. But did you ever notice it's the same show over and over where someone will say something ridiculous or dumb, but then the people on their team are like, oh, it's up there. Good answer, good answer. And in the back of your mind, you go, that is a dumb answer. There's no way that's up there. And, it's funny on there, and it's just not so funny in real life when like you hear some cupine answers to some of life's biggest questions. Like around like sexuality and eternity and family and I just hear a lot of cupine answers out there. And then maybe I'm old and I just feel this wrongly, but then there's all this pressure to agree to some stuff that's really kind of madness and be like, good answer, good answer, good answer. When in our heart of hearts, you know what, it's not a good answer. And so there's, that sociologists and psychologists, they say this about you and about me. I don't care if you're a Christian or not. Humanity is, they're all asking some form of these 4 questions. And here's what they are. They're, who am I? Why am I here? What's wrong with the world? And how can it be fixed? All of us are asking some form of those 4 questions. And here's what, I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag early. I would submit to you that Christianity and Christ answer those 4 questions better than any other worldview out there. And so let's check out some of them. So I'm going to just go 30,000 view feet, just kind of hit some of these in the book. But the first one is who am I? Or the identity question. All right. And so playing 14 years in the NHL, can anyone guess what I miss most about playing in the NHL? Paycheck. Thank you, Pastor Nathan. Yeah, paycheck, man. But then a close second behind that is the massage. You know, we had a full-time massage therapist traveling with us on the team, and Philly's massage therapist was outstanding. And so I know some of us, man, a red flag goes up because in pro sports today, there's been some stuff in the NFL where there's been inappropriate activity with the team's massage therapist. It was no problem for us because our massage therapist was a dude. His name was Tommy. He was about 6'1", about 220, 230. He had black hair covering 98% of his body. And he had long jet black hair that he would wear up in a man bun. But this dude was a boss, man, and he was strong. And so here's what we would do. We would get into a city. And here was the flow. We fly in, and then we check into the hotel, go get an amazing meal, back to the hotel, massage. That was kind of our routine. And so we flew into Washington, and we were in to play the Capitals, and that was my routine, man. We get to the hotel, go have a great meal, and then I'm going to go get a massage from Tommy. And so I head into the room, and Tommy, you need to know this about him. He was a spiritual guy, but he wasn't a Christian. And so we were able on many occasions to have spiritual conversations. I'm trying to win him to the Lord. And so, but not this night. So this night I was pouting. Any pouters out there? I just feeling sorry for myself, you know, because I wasn't playing well. And so I was just kind of like, hey, I don't want to talk about Jesus or nothing. I just want to just rub the legs and let's move on. And so he's kind of doing his massage thing. And literally, I'm almost asleep on the table. And Tommy's kind of working until the massage abruptly stopped. And then he started yelling at the top of his lungs at me, "Who are you? Who are you?" And I'm like, "Tommy, bro, it's me, it's me." He didn't stop there. He jumps on my chest, starts banging my chest. "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Bro, it's Adam. It's Adam." I thought he was tripping on like LSD or some like PTSD, something from Vietnam or I don't know. And so I was like, what in the world? Until finally I go, "It's Adam, it's Adam." And he goes, "No." He gets off my chest and then he goes, "You're a child of God." And then goes right back to the massage. And so I was like, what in the world? But I guess if God could speak through a donkey or through a burning bush, he could speak through Tommy, the massage therapist. Who are you? You're a child of God. You know what? He was right. And I want to ask you this. Who are you? Can you answer that question, the identity question? Here's what I know. If you're a secular atheist, in other words, you don't believe that there is a God, and number one, I am so glad that you're here today, and Pastor Nathan, Pastor Kaz would love to speak with you after service. But if you're a secular atheist, if that's your worldview, you know who you are? You are lucky mud. You're a cosmic accident. You have no purpose, no meaning, no design. And then some people in here, you might be like, no, I'm my own God. You know, I determine my identity, who I am. And so that if that's you in here, I think that's cute. But the reality is, man, you can do that until life punches you in the face, until there's a pandemic, until you get diagnosed with cancer or something like that. Then you being God becomes kind of laughable, okay? And so, but here's what I find, and particularly here in New York City, is that many people, you define who you are. You answer the identity question by what you do or what you have. And so some of you define yourself by your money or your bank account. Some of you define yourself by your career. Some of you, man, you define yourself by your looks. Here's what's problematic with that. All of those things can be taken from you in a moment. And so your money, that could be taken from you. Your beauty, that could be taken from you. I mean, even your family and all these things, they can be taken from you. And so here's what happens when you secure your identity to insecure things that could be taken, you become an insecure person. You just do. And so, but what if there was something we could secure our identity to that was eternal, unchanging, never ending? And I got news for you. You can. Genesis 1:26, this is how you answer who am I question, the identity question. God helps us in Genesis 1. He says, then God said, let us make man in our image and in our likeness, that we see the triune God. He created you, and you are a unique image bearer of God. Man, that is who you are, your identity. And so, do you know this? Like your mom and your dad, you got 23 chromosomes from mom, 23 from dad. That make up your 46 chromosomes in your DNA. The chances of you being you are 1 in 100 trillion. Nobody can image Almighty God like you can. You are a unique, distinct image bearer of God. And then it even gets better through the New Testament and the cross of Jesus Christ. He's going to say this in John chapter 1, verse 12. But to all who did receive him, who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. You're a unique image bearer of God. And for those of you that know Christ, you're his child, you're his son, you're his daughter. And so, so here, if you don't get anything else, I want to be helpful. You need to get this. And so there should be a slide going up on the screen. And so your primary identity is that of a son and a daughter of God if you know Jesus Christ. That's primary and eternal. It never changes. And then all of your secondary identities, they are informed by your primary identity, and they change. So for example, I'm a pastor. I'm a former athlete. I'm a husband. I'm a dad. I'm a son. All these different secondary identities, but they can't be made primary. If they do, man, you'll be an insecure individual. But if I know I'm a son of God, who's what? A husband, who's a dad, who's a pastor. Now my primary identity informs all my secondary. It helps you to be the best you can possibly be. And so I want to encourage you in that. And the identity question I love in Acts chapter 19. So there's the 7 sons of Sceva. Do you remember the story? They were 7 Jewish itinerant exorcists. So apparently that was a thing back then. And they were to cast the demons out of this one young man. And so, but they've seen the Apostle Paul moving in all this power, and his handkerchiefs were healing people and stuff. And so they decided they were going to use the name of Jesus. And so these exorcists, they get before this demon-possessed guy and they said, we adjure you by the Jesus whom Paul preaches to come out. And do you remember what happened? The demon talked back to him. And they said, hey, Jesus we know. We've heard of Paul. Who are you? And so I want to tell you something. When a demon asks you, who are you? You better know the answer to that. Because they didn't know, and it says that the demon-possessed guy beat that dude bloody and naked. And so, in my hockey career, I've had a lot of fights, and I've lost a lot of them. I've been bloodied, but I've never been beaten so bad that I was naked, all right? And so listen, you better know who you are. Who are you? And here's the second question is this, why am I here? Or the purpose question, why am I here? And so, do you know they got together back in the mid-1600s, about 150 Presbyterian ministers. They were trying to get to the bottom of what is the purpose for humanity. And so they all agreed on this one thing. And here's what's crazy. You know how hard it is to get a group of Christians to agree about anything? And 153 of these Presbyterian ministers agreed this. This is the chief end of man, and here it is, to glorify God and enjoy him forever. Like that is your purpose, is to glorify God in the earth. You are an image bearer who's been sent by God to glorify him wherever you go and whatever you do. And so there's Kathy Heller, she's an author and podcaster, and she says this, that the opposite of depression is not happiness, it's purpose. And I agree with her. And so there's a guy you may have heard of, Michael Phelps. the most decorated Olympic athlete of all time, 28 medals, 23 of which are gold. And you might recall after he struck gold again in 2012, the Olympics in London, after that, he came back and he abruptly retired from Olympic competition. And so, but here's what happened. See, he had tethered his identity to what he did. And now he struggled because he says, who am I if I'm not in the pool? And so he started to spiral downwards in depression. In the depression, he tried to numb this chasm of this emptiness by alcohol and drugs, and it got worse and worse and worse until he had to check himself into a rehab facility. But before he did, a friend and a guy who's a fellow Jesus lover, Hall of Fame linebacker Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens, he actually met Phelps and he gave him a book before he entered the rehab facility. And that book, it wasn't the Bible, it was Rick Warren's The Purpose-Driven Life. And so, man, Phelps just devoured that during his rehab thing. It became like oxygen. It was breathing new life into his soul because he was finding out that, man, that God created me. And when he got back his relationship with God, it realigned him with his purpose. He realized, I'm an image bearer of God. And so it brought him back, and he wound up, man, jumping back in the pool and winning another 5 gold medals after that. But he found his purpose when he rekindled his relationship with God. And so I want to tell you this. If you're a follower of Jesus Christ, your life oozes with purpose. Wherever you go, whatever you do, it's significant. And so like Colossians, this is my life verse, and Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, work at it heartily as for the Lord and not for men. So I know like some of us are actors and models trying to make it in, and you're going to wait tables and work as a barista or something like that till you finally hit it. Here's what I want to tell you, man. If you're a barista at Starbucks, dude, you better whip that foam to the glory of God, man. All right? Because whatever you do it for the Lord and not for men. See, you're an image bearer. So wherever you go, and whatever you do, it's significant. And so that would be the purpose question. And then let me give you the third question is this. What's wrong with the world? What's wrong with the world? And so if you're a thinker, you got to be like, hey man, if this Jesus is so awesome and God is so good, why is the world so jacked up? And it's a great question, man. And God doesn't shy away from it, not even one bit. And so let me illustrate it to you this way. My maxillofacial surgeon, when he looked at the left side of my face before 5 hours of surgery, he let me know this. He says, Adam, it looked like someone took a shotgun to your face and pulled the trigger. Every bone was shattered in the left side of your cheekbone. And it wasn't a shotgun. It was a left hand. And so we were playing against I was with Hartford, and we were playing the Boston Bruins, and I dropped the gloves with this guy named Rick Tocchet. Oddly enough, he'd be a teammate of mine with the Philadelphia Flyers in the longest game. But Rick and I, he's really tough. And so you can Google this. They actually have a website, hockeyfights.com, and it says that I had 65 fights in my NHL career. But before you think I'm tough, it said I won 4 of them, all right? And this one, I lost another one. So I dropped the gloves with Toc, and we're going, and guys, I'm fighting, and I'm thinking, I'm doing really good in this fight. And that was the last thing I remember, because he switched hands, and he shattered my cheekbone. And so I'm headed into surgery, and I started wheeling me into surgery. I'm high on morphine, and the administering nurse, she's like, hey, will you sign this hockey card for my son and all that? So I'm just doing autographs on my way in for surgery, you know what I mean? And so, but shattered. And you know what? That's your story and my story. It's the human story. Is that, do you know that we get in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And we get Genesis 1 and 2 where God creates and it's good. He creates and it's good. He creates and it's good. It's the Hebrew word shalom. It means peace, and it means that there's nothing lacking and nothing broken, and it only lasts for 2 chapters. Because Genesis 3 happens, Adam and Eve, they rebel and sin against God. And suddenly what happens? Everything that's beautiful and right, the shalom of God, in a moment, it shatters into 1,000,000 pieces. And Adam and Eve are cast out of the Garden of Eden. Do you know that Eden means delight? Like God had created us to be in a delightful place with him, and we messed the whole thing up because of sin. Romans 5:12, it says it this way, therefore, just as sin came into the world through one man, and death through sin, and so death spread to all men because all sinned. And so I'm going to date myself here. How many have seen the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith? So this is Will Smith before he was smacking people in the face at the Oscars. And so, Will, if you remember the story of I Am Legend as New Yorkers, it should hit you home because he played Dr. Robert Neville, and he and a series of other doctors, they thought they found the cure for cancer. And so when they administered this virus, it was to fight off and destroy cancer. But when they found happened, it mutated. And then it became airborne. And this virus, it transformed people into these soulless, zombie-like creatures. They were night walkers. They hated the light, and they lived in the dark, and they hunted humanity. And then if you remember one of the scenes, one of Dr. Neville's counterparts, he sees a night walker up close, strapped to a table. And when she sees how horrific this creature is, she just screams, "Oh my God!" And he says, "Oh, God didn't do this. We did." And that's our story. Like God created everything to be in shalom, in harmony, in peace. And through sin, we messed it up. And what's wrong with the world? Sin, man. Do you know it says, so do you know my hockey career, 14 years, I took a toll. So I have 4 plates and 13 screws over here. I have 33 screws over here and 15 plates on this side. I've had 5 back surgeries, a knee reconstruction. I've split my jaw in half in 2 places. I've had over 200 stitches. I'll stop for that reason, okay? And I'm holding out. God's going to give me a resurrected body. But here's what's so funny is through all of that, all these injuries, not once did I stop and go, what in the world? How did this happen to me? It's like, hey, dum-dum, you play hockey. It's fast and violent, and occasionally you're going to get hurt. And in the same way, I just want to tell you, we're not in Genesis 1 and 2 anymore. We live in a Genesis 3 broken world that it's fast, it's violent, and it's broken. And occasionally, man, we're going to get dinged up. But it's not how God designed it to be. And the good news, man, cat out of the bag, one day he's going to make it new again. Right. But there's a guy, G.K. Chesterton, and so lest we think, oh yeah, we're just victims of sin, that's just not quite true. We're not just victims, but we're also perpetrators of sin. Like we are part of the problem. G.K. Chesterton, this great apologist, the London Times asked him to write an essay on what's wrong with the world. And he wrote back 2 words. What's wrong with the world? I am. Sincerely, G.K. Chesterton. And that is the reality. But the gospel means good news. And here's the good news, is God is going to send a hero, and he's going to make everything new again. So, I know this is an educated crowd, but bear with me, man. So I'm just a dumb old hockey player. Come on, Marvel comics? Anyone watch the Marvel movies? If you haven't, you're one of the rare ones. It's raised over $29.8 billion. It's grossed at the box office. And so we love a hero story. We can't get enough. And so at my church in New Jersey, we practice church discipline. We're very serious about that. And so if any of you come to my church and you bring this heresy like Thor or Black Panther is the greatest Avenger, you're going to be under church discipline in my church, okay? Because we all know that it's Iron Man is the greatest Avenger that there is, right? And so, and I'll have nothing else. And so it's just true. And so if you guys remember, the Avengers franchise, they trained us. So our movie-going experience, we used to go to the movies, and as soon as the credits started going, man, we're up. We're going to try and beat the crowd and get out of there. Not anymore. Because remember what happens? Man, you got to wait for the credits to be done, because then they got a hidden scene, and they're telling us about a hero that is to come. And so I'll take us back. I think it was 2018 for the Avengers, and it was the Infinity War. Do you remember our nemesis was a creature by the name of Thanos? Thanos means death. And what Thanos wanted to do, he wanted to wipe out half of the cosmos, life and population. Death had entered in, but our heroes, man, they all gathered together. And remember, there's this epic fight But at every turn, the heroes are losing, right? Loss after loss after loss until we get to the end of the film. And just before the credits roll, what happens? Some of our heroes start to dissipate and disappear into thin air. And then what? It ends and the credits roll. And you're like, wait, it can't end like this. Like the bad guys can't win. And because in your heart of hearts, you know it can't end this way. And it didn't. Remember, the credits roll, and then what? There's this hidden scene of a hero that was going to come. And they would come. We'd have to wait a year for it, for Avengers Endgame. What happened? Our heroes would be born again. They would rise up together, and they would push back evil until at one point, death would die. And that's our story. Let me read to you in Genesis chapter 3, in verse 15 as we close. God says this to Satan, our enemy, our Thanos. He says, I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head. The promise is that God was to send a hero, a serpent crusher, to come make a way for us. And so remember our questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What's wrong with the world? And then our fourth and final question is this: how can it be fixed? Listen, to find that out, you're going to have to buy the book, okay? Because I'm out of time right now. And so we're going to pray, but then I'm going to turn it over to Pastor Nathan. And would you pray with me? Lord, I thank you for every man, woman, and child in here today, Lord. And Lord, I sense the destiny, Lord, in this place. God, I pray today, Lord, may there be an anchoring. May there be a knowing in each and everyone's life, God, that they know who I am, God, why I am here, what's wrong with the world, and how can it be fixed. We thank you. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen.